Hi and welcome to Hooray, it's Thursday. I'm live, coming from the beautiful, very sunny Central Coast where the cicadas are singing and Australia Post is not delivering. So, I wanted to bring you some new stuff because the new catalogue's coming out and I'm so excited. Those people that are waiting on their catalogues from me, I'm very sorry. They will eventually get to you. It's just, I haven't received them yet. Australia Post is holding what seems to be all of my parcels, so there's 5 of them sitting there for hostage, and yeah, I have no idea when they're coming. So they said they should get here before the 29th of December. I'm very glad, considering that they were shipped on the 5th. Anyway, without further ado, again, welcome to Hooray, it's live. This is Thursday, what are we, 15th of December? Today is a free shipping day with Stampin' Up. You've got until midnight tonight to get your goodies from Stampin' Up if any orders over $65 with free shipping. So it's a great time to stock up on things like envelopes, cardstock, adhesives and those sorts of things. Check out the last chance items. They started out as about 8 pages worth of things. There's now down to 4. So there are things that are no longer available, but there's also still heaps of goodies in there. I'm going to play with the waves of inspiration today because I can, but because it's in the annual catalogue. So it's a beautiful set. I haven't played for a while and I've just been watching some of the other demonstrators from around the world, and I want to try a technique. So let's get started. So I'll flip my camera around. Any other stuff. Okay, so I'll just get that centered. So I've got the waves of inspiration out, hoping that you can hear me okay. I've got my earbuds in, so I'm hoping that it's going to actually work a bit better for us. Today is actually the plan, but we'll see how we go, I guess. And I'm just setting up my computer so that I can watch, but that's not actually what I wanted it to do. So, oh, I don't know what I'm doing with it. Let me see. I'll just go back here and go there. So the Waves of Inspiration was released as a special release stamp set earlier on in the piece, and then it moved into landed in our annual catalogue. So it's a really pretty set. It's got a gorgeous little pelican guy in here, which looks great coloured in, but it also looks good. I'm just going to do a fairly plain card. I've got my trimmer here so that I can have a bit of a play. This is Night of Navy, and I've got a Night of Navy card base. So I'll just fold that in half. These are A4, half of A4, which is our A5, but essentially it's now 10.5, which was 21 by 14.9. Okay, we'll need an inside piece for in there. This piece here is going to end up sitting on top of here, so I actually have another piece because I was thinking it might need a white border, so we'll see how we go, because what I want to do, so I haven't set up any stamp sets, I haven't done any of that. First things first, I've got a brand spanking new white ink pad, okay, because I know some of my team members have got white ink pads and they just want to see how to play with them. This is it's like a shadow effect, and I think it would look absolutely amazing with that wave. That's if I do it correctly. It's been a long time since I've done this. All right, so this pad arrives and it's dry. So what the thing with this pad is that you do need, it comes with a brand new re-inker, and this ink is really thick and you need to ink it up. Okay, it's thick, it's gluggy, it's not fun, but essentially you want to you're going to need most of the bottle, okay, for it to soak in. But I've also brought over with me a spoon. See how it's just sitting on the top at the moment? That's what it does. This is all very, very normal. All right, so we'll see how we go with that. And you've got to give it a really good massage into your pad. And the reason why I bought a metal spoon over is because you can wash it really easily. This is not like our regular inks, this one. It's a pigment ink, so it's got colour in a thick viscous type fluid, and it's a matter of massaging it into that pad. All right, it sometimes takes a little bit to dry, though I don't think it's quite warm here today, so I'm not sure. I think it'll dry pretty quickly, to tell you the honest truth. But the pad is actually very, very thirsty. So I've just massaged that bit in. And we'll massage some more in. At least with this, I'm going to use a Stampin', so you don't only get one shot. So I'm up to about half a bottle there. Let's see how this pad's just soaking it up. You know when we say our pads can't arrive and they're really, really juicy, and we go, oh my gosh, it's so juicy, and you can understand when this takes so much ink. All right, we might end up needing more, but we'll see how we go. I'll just cover it up while I set up my stamp pad. Okay, so Waves of Inspiration, really pretty set. Stampin', and a piece of Night of Navy, because we can cut everything down after. Okay, so I have a great affection with portrait cards, and I'm going to continue that. Now, what I want to do, essentially, I am going to end up cutting this down. I really want more wave than, like I want this bit to be as a bit of a feature. So really, I should go that way, but I really don't want to. I really want it to be a portrait card because I really like portrait cards. So it's going to be a matter of setting up your Stampin' so that you can actually make it work. Since I'm going to cut it down, I don't normally push things right into the corner, but I am going to cut this card down, so I will. All right, and I want it to be about there, which is on that 1 centimeter line. It's still pushed in that down to the bottom at that end of the Stampin'. All right, and the best bit is we get a couple of goes at stamping it. So let's see if this ink pad is wet. Oh, of course this one's wet. That's very wet. That's Night of Navy. To make it so my stamp pad can give it a really good soaking, I just put my stamp set under there. It gives me something to have a bit of push on. Let's see if I made this wet enough. Yep, I did. Okay, so is that going to be far enough? It is. Okay. Let's see what sort of image we get. So because I put the stamp set so close to the edges, I do have to give it a bit of, in the car, Cheryl, okay. All right. Might give it another go. What do you reckon? I think Cheryl might pick up with the kiddies. Okay. I noticed it didn't stamp real well, this spot here. The closer you get to the edge here, the less flexibility in the piece of Perspex. Over here, there's still quite a bit of movement, whereas over there, there's not. I would normally stand up for this. That's better. Okay, so we need to clean that off because I do not want, that's white pigment ink. I don't want it on my Night of Navy ink pad. Okay, so I'll just get it off, or as much off it as possible. It's going to turn my chamois a funny shade of white as well, but that's okay. I'm due to do a dark load of washing so they can go through the washing machine. All right. Now, the trick with this is, oh, I'll put a little bit of water there. We're going to move this a little bit. I'm going to come up and out, just a smidge. Not a lot. We're talking 1, maximum 2 millimeters. Okay, so that's going to provide a shadow effect, if this works. So cross everything with me. All right. And we're going to hopefully get a nice shadow effect here. All right. And you can come back and you can go again each time. So just give it a nice press all over. Well, I think we need to go again, just to make it a little bit darker. If I stand up, then I can just go like so with the heel of my hand. You can make knobs to press on it, but look at that. See how it gives it, like, can you see that two-tone effect? How cool is that? Right. It really looks like it's whitewashed, doesn't it? Okay. That, if I do say so myself, looks pretty smick. So let's put that aside and wash that after. Right. So it's almost like it makes it fuzzy, gives it almost a fluffy look, but it really works well with that wave. Okay. So I'm going to pop that aside to dry. Pull out a scrap. I don't think that one's going to be big enough. Oh, where's my stamp set gone? Okay. Nope, you're not big enough. You'll be big enough for sentiment. Oh, I should have done some waves on the inside. I don't know if you remember, this came with really pretty paper at the time they released it. Okay. So, all right. So I've got waves of inspiration. So far we've got a wave. I'm hoping that I've brought my blender pin over because I wanted to. Yeah, there's one. Okay. Let's get this nice and well inked up. I've been running the dehumidifier because the house was smelling a bit wet. So all my ink pads are drying out again. That's okay, we've always got more paper, we can always stamp it again if worse comes to worse. Okay. One pelican. And let's just go with a nice skinny happy birthday. This is a monochrome card it's turning out to be. But it's not crooked. Oh, it's crooked. It's straight, sorry. I was thinking it's going to be crooked. It had to be crooked. But you know what? It's not. How cool's that? So there are dies that match this set. We've got 2 different waves which fit perfectly over top of that wave. Look great. Some birds and some clouds. I don't think it's going to need either, to tell you the honest truth. Although I am tempted to put some birds on it. So I'm going to trim this down a little bit because we've got this piece down the bottom edge here. I've given that white a chance to have a little bit of a dry. It does take a bit of time because it is not the same as our water-based, normal water-based inks. Ew. Just get white ink all over me. I've got stuff in there. Okay, and I'll just use my scissors. It's a piece of designer series paper in here. So actually it's a piece of photo. Today's the Scrapbooking Global's scrapbook page day. So that's up on my blog. I'll pop it up. You'll see it come up on my Facebook page later. It's going to take a little bit off. Alright, look how skin, like you can cut the skinniest little, finest little pieces off here with this trimmer. It's got such a nice, it's a nice cutting surface. So, and it can cut with such precision. I think it needs this white. Okay. What do you reckon? A paintbrush works better to do this with, but look at all the rubbish that's in there. I'm not sure if you can see that, all the fluff. Paintbrush is a good thing to do it with. Keep it nice, keep the track nice and clean. It keeps your blade better for longer. Okay. So I was just planning on sitting him there. Nice blokey sort of card. Not a lot to it. Okay. It's just really pretty. All right, I'll get that happy birthday. See what I mean? You can just cut so nicely with this one. And it trims everything up perfectly. I'm going to do a little bit of a flag here. All right. Oh, there's a birdie stamp. So I'm going to need the birdie stamp. Right. Okay, so that looks really good on there. And then just give this a bit of a flag. Okay, and we need a cut and emboss machine and a die. So that technique is quite fun. I could have cut that sentiment out with that die, but I'm not going to. I just left it like that because I think that this card is actually, the way I've done it, it's like the waves are crashing of the night and there's shadows all over the place. So let me just pull this guy in because I want that, this little one, I want this cut out. So I need a piece of washi. Let's pull a piece off here. Been cutting a whole heap, been doing Christmas cards. I'm so far behind it's not funny. All right. my tongue right. Will I get it in the right spot? Okay, we'll just send this through here. Oops. I'll have here. Okay. It's like he's watching the waves from afar. And this is where we have to be a little bit gentle, because we don't want to make a mess now that we've got it all nice looking. And like my gems, when I do gems, we need an odd number, because we need an odd number of birdies. You could put a piece of twine or a piece of ribbon or something like that on it, but I actually think it looks really quite pretty. If you've got some leftover of the waves paper that was previously available, what did land back in the clearance rack for a little bit, but it is gone again because it was just so popular. That one's well and truly empty. Oh my gosh, that is the biggest spider. No, it's a wasp. I've got a wasp on my window and it's eating a spider. Cool, he's allowed to do that. You just got to be careful because the white smudges a bit if it's not dry yet. So just try not to touch it. And we'll put this one on here. So trying not to touch my white. Okay. You could add a bit of texture to the, if you had an embossing folder handy, you can add a bit of texture to it as well, but I don't. So I'm just going to put some glue on the back of there, adhere it on. Nice, quick, easy bloke card actually. Especially if you've got someone in the family that really likes the beach. Masculine card for those that like the beach. Looks like I've got white ink everywhere. All I'm doing is smoothing that front surface down, but without actually rubbing my hands over it. Okay. This guy is going on some dimensionals. And he's going to sort of sit along that edge to take away some of that blue edge there. And the reason being is I want it to look like he's in the forefront quite significantly rather than being too far away. Okay. Somewhere on my page, here they are, on my table, is my dimensionals. Now, if you've got your blender pen and you want to make these darker, you can just run your blender pen along them and it will actually move some of that ink. Okay? It's like colouring in but without adding extra colour. Because it's night time, because we've got quite a dark card happening here. But we can give this a little bit more definition by doing this. And we can even make the birdie a little bit more definition. Okay? Just by sort of moving a bit of colour around near where he's got those spots of colour. You could colour him in with alcohol markers as well, but we don't need to. Okay, a couple of dimensionals under here. Oh, there's an eyelash. And I might put half a dimensional up the top here where my pelican and top is. Oh, it's stuck to me. Okay. And again, like I said, I'm just having it, I'm running it along that edge there. It extends the page off at least that little bit. So this will look good in numerous places, but I'm actually going to put it up there. And I'm going to use these little bits because my minis are on the table. So we do have mini dimensionals, but they're on the other table. And Cheryl knows the other table is well and truly behind me. Okay. So this technique is a shadow technique. You can use it for lots of different stamp sets. This stamp set and its dies are bundled in the annual catalogue. They're available today with free shipping on them, which is great. I think I just put that. I did. It's on an angle and might take your pick tools on the table across the way. So use your grid lines to make it so that it's straight. That's better. How's that? Looking good, doesn't it? So what I'm thinking I might do in here is I might just stamp some birds. So I'll just clean them up with the same one of these I used earlier. That white ink will transfer to everything because it's a pigment ink. I'm still going to shove it through the, I'll still shove that through the washing machine with the dark cycle, even though it's got that light ink on it. Let's put a pelican in here. Right. Oh, I've got some shadow. Let's try again on the other side. I felt it rock. Because up near his head it rocks a bit. And probably need another one there. Lots of birdies. Okay. So I will colour this in a little bit as well, just to darken that off. To clean your pen, you just run it on some clean, just like copy paper or something like that, or in this case the grid paper. You just want to draw until it comes clean, and then you know that it's ready. Okay, so a nice, quick, easy birthday card for today. I think this has probably been the, yes, you would, Johanna. And you'd make my dogs bark mad. So Johanna's just commented that she came over now with her bike. Would that you hear it on the video? Yes, you would. And my dogs will go off their nut because they don't mind seeing Johanna, but the noise she makes with her bike sends them a bit berserk. All right. And I did bring an envelope over. Here it is here. So again, let's just stamp this guy, not with white, but with Night of Navy. So a monochrome card with the white ink pad. I've got a few friends ask me how I use the white ink pad. The white ink pad is a nice pad. I'll just hold my tongue right. There's a couple of birds all standing in a row. It's a nice ink pad. It needs heaps of ink. It's a very thirsty pad because it comes dry, but you do get the pigment ink with it. Give it a really good shake before you pop it onto your pad, because it's thick and it settles with the transport. Okay, and that there is our waves of inspiration. Blokey birthday card using a shadow technique, and as you can see, it's almost like a felty, I don't know, you just want to rub it and stroke it, but the waves look really good. You can also, if you wanted to, you could also now go back again, and it'd be really cool to add, prior to sticking it all together, it would have been really cool to add some embossing to it, so some clear embossing, so that would bring it out, just add another layer as well, and that would just add like more to that wave. So there we have it. Today's Hooray It's Thursday card is brought to you by Waves of Inspiration and the coordinating die set Waves. Hope you enjoyed, and Johanna, you can come now because I'm turning off the video.